Hello and welcome. We're going to talk about a moment that, so many families face. How on earth do you pay for aged care without it turning into a total financial crisis? Today, we're diving deep into a real-world case study to show you how a clear strategy can turn what is a really complex and emotional journey into one with clarity and, most importantly, peace of mind.
All right, before we get into the story, we've got to do the important legal bit. Sean Sullivan is an authorized representative of Vivid Financial Planning. Now, just remember, the information in this explainer is general. It's for educational purposes, and it doesn't take your personal situation into account at all. So you should always seek professional advice that's tailored specifically to your needs.
Okay, let's dive in. Today, we're navigating aged care costs, and we're going to do it by following the very real story of one woman and her financial journey.
So here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to meet Margaret, who's at a really critical crossroads. Then we'll try to decode all those confusing costs she's facing. After that, we'll look at the actual financial strategy that was created to help her, see how that plan worked in the real world, and finally, we'll pull out the key lessons from her journey that, honestly, can help all of us.
So, first up, let's talk about Margaret's situation. Let me introduce you to Margaret. She's an 88-year-old widow, and she's reached that point in life where she needs to move into residential aged care. She's chosen her facility, Bethany Peel. A room is available, but with that good news comes this huge wave of really complex and frankly urgent financial decisions.
Okay, so let's look at Margaret's finances. On paper, things look pretty good, right? A net worth of over $900,000. But here's the problem, and it's a big one. Almost all of it, $850,000, is locked up tight in her family home. This is such a classic situation, being asset-rich but cash-poor, especially when you're facing massive upfront costs.
So, what costs is she actually facing? Let's get into decoding them because, this is where things can get incredibly confusing for so many people.
The biggest, most intimidating number you'll probably ever see in this process is the RAD, or the Refundable Accommodation Deposit. The easiest way to think about it is like a huge interest-free loan that you give to the aged care facility for the room, and the balance is supposed to be refunded when the resident leaves. But is it really?
For Margaret's room at Bethany Peel, the RAD is a staggering $550,000. I mean, wow. That number right there just immediately highlights the massive challenge. How do you find $500,000 when almost all of your money is tied up in your house?
Now, listen up, because this is so important and it busts a huge misconception. That refundable deposit, it's not always fully refunded, not even close. Facilities can and do deduct fees. In Margaret's case, the equivalent of 2% per year can be deducted, and it's taken out daily for up to 5 years. That's a potential $55,000 hidden cost that absolutely has to be part of the plan. The final balance is only refunded after she leaves the facility for good.
So, what if Margaret just can't pay that huge RAD upfront? Well, then she has to pay a daily fee instead. It's called a daily accommodation payment, or DAP, and this creates a really serious cash flow trap. Her daily costs would shoot up to over $186. That's more than $1,300 a week. It would just drain her bank account in no time at all.
This is exactly why a clear strategy is so essential. So let's look at the professional advice Margaret received that was designed to give her that financial peace of mind. And this quote from our source material really gets to the heart of it all. There is no single right answer that works for everyone. The absolute key is finding the right path for your specific needs and goals, and that takes some really careful planning.
The recommendation from Margaret was a super clear 3-step plan. First, sell the family home. That unlocks all that capital. Second, use those proceeds to pay the $550,000 RAD in full as a lump sum. That stops those crazy high daily payments immediately. And third, invest $200,000 of the cash that's left over into a specialized annuity, one designed specifically for aged care, which would help manage all the ongoing costs and preserve her capital.
So, what was the actual impact of this plan? Let's move on and see the strategy in action by comparing the outcomes. This is the fun part. Okay, the difference this strategy makes is immediate. It's night and day. By paying the RAB, Margaret completely eliminates that huge daily accommodation payment. Her total daily fees drop by over $23. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but it adds up to a saving of more than $8,000 a year. That completely changes her cash flow situation.
And what about her long-term wealth, the big picture?
Well, the projection shows that after 5 years of paying all her fees and expenses, her estate is still projected to be worth nearly $745,000. This just proves that a good strategy isn't just about paying the bills day to day, it's about preserving her legacy.
And this table here breaks it down for you year by year. You can see there's a steady, managed decline in her total assets as costs are paid, but it completely avoids that rapid drain that would have happened without a solid plan. It shows a sustainable financial path forward.
So let's wrap this up with our final section, the lessons from Margaret's journey. What are the key takeaways here for you and your family?
You know, Margaret's story gives us such a powerful blueprint. First, the family home is often the most critical financial lever you have. Second, paying that RAD up front if you can is a massive lever to control your daily costs. Third, you've got to understand the hidden costs, like those sneaky RAD deductions. Fourth, specialized investments can make a huge difference to your cash flow. And finally, and honestly, this is the most important one, professional advice is not a luxury. It is essential for navigating all this complexity and finding the best path for you.
So this leaves all of us with a pretty critical question to think about, for ourselves and for our loved ones. What's your plan for funding long-term care? Because having these conversations early, it can make all the difference in the world.
The advisor who was featured in today's case study was Sean Sullivan. If you're looking for more information or want to discuss your own situation, his contact details are right there on the screen for you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really hope Margaret's story has helped demystify this important topic and shown you that with the right planning, financial clarity is absolutely possible. We'll see you next time.